All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour one, Jon and Jim with us in studio to start the show. We have the head coach of the Aztecs men's basketball team, Brian Dutcher, with us in studio.
I'm sorry you had to turn your mic on, idiot. I'm sorry you had to listen to that, by the way.
I loved it.
You like that, right?
Loved it.
Wait, I'm going on with these guys who thinks the birthplace of jazz was in Utah?
It's live radio.
It's live radio. Sometimes you don't know what's going on, and sometimes you sound like an idiot. Like
they
me.
do have a couple good jazz clubs in Salt Lake.
See,
There you go. There you go.
I feel a
Probably
little
because
vindicated.
of the team that moved from New Orleans
Exactly.
to Utah. Dutch, it's great to see you. I know it's only been a couple of weeks since the Sweet 16, but it's as busy as ever right now with the offseason underway.
Yeah, it's crazy. We got back from Boston, and the very next day was like spring break. So the kids all took off for a week, and we kind of decompressed a day or two, and then we did our exit interviews. So I had exit interviews this week talking about their future with the program. I've got a job open with Chris Hacker taking Long Beach State, and then we've got the portal, adding pieces to next year's team. I've got a kid visiting this weekend, another one coming Sunday. And so it's really hectic, but it's the fun part of the job.
Which speaks to, and we'll get to this, the importance of what the Mesa Foundation is doing with the collective. We know how important name, image, and likeness is. By the way, the next donation you make to the Mesa Foundation will be matched. All donations up to $300,000 between now and May 15th will be matched. More information at mesafountationsd.org. We're going to get into that. Dutch, you mentioned these exit interviews. Do you have clarity in terms of some of your veteran players like Lamont, who obviously is testing NBA waters? You have Reese Waters with eligibility. You have Michah Parish, who's been with you for the last couple of years with eligibility. When do you expect, or do you have clarity on those three players specifically?
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, I'm pretty confident that Reese will, test the waters, obviously, like they all can do, and they should do. It's their right to do so. But if he doesn't find an opportunity professionally, I would imagine he would be back on the Mesa. Lamont, same thing. Test the waters. If he doesn't find what he wants out there professionally, I would anticipate he would be back on the Mesa as an Aztec. Michah is interesting. I think Micah's still in that phase where the portal could be a realistic possibility for him, which is his right too. It's like people a year ago with Keshad. He graduated from San Diego State. He did great things for our program. And then he has the right to go in the portal and see what his value is worth to other programs. And so I don't think we need to look at it as a negative. We need to look at it as the new reality in college basketball. So we'll adjust to whatever happens like we always do.
This time last year, you're about a week into your off season. You have a little more time this, off season, obviously, making the Sweet 16 this year, losing to UConn. But so far, how has the off season felt like? Has it felt like busier than last year, or because last year was so long and you had, oh my gosh, whirlwind, we're in the national championship game, and then the season ends and you're right into work again? How have the two off seasons compared past year?
I think the main thing is because we went a week longer, we were a week late to the portal, even though we were doing stuff. I was talking to Reese last year during our Final Four run. But obviously, when the season ends, all your thoughts are to next year. We can't dwell on last year. We're moving to this year. And so we've been, as soon as I got off the road, I'm doing Zoom calls, I'm doing phone calls, and we're jumping in on players we think could help us next year on the Mesa. And last year, like I said, we're 7 in UConn over the last 2 years. Right. So you can say 7-2, but basically it's 7 in UConn.
7 in UConn.
And I think that's the second best record in the tournament next to UConn, who went 12-0. So we've been good, but we always we want to be better. We want to be back on the biggest stage, which is the Final Four, and playing for a national championship. And that's where our efforts are.
Dutch, you have the benefit of perspective specific to UConn. They've won consecutive national championships, but you've seen other teams do this. We've seen Duke. We've seen Michigan when you were there with the national championship and national championship runs. We saw Florida win consecutive national championships. Where do you put this UConn run of dominance in the perspective of like modern college basketball history?
Well, I mean, you always talk about, national championships. You talk about Kansas and Duke, North Carolina, Michigan State, Florida. But right now, over the last 20 years, 25 years, it's been UConn. There is no comparison. I remember back with Kawhi, they beat us on the way to the title with Kevin Ollie. Or Jim Calhoun's won them. Now Hurley's won 2. So they've had multiple coaches over the last 25 years win national titles. And I don't think anybody else has come close to that.
What team was better, this year's UConn or last year's UConn?
It was funny. They asked me that after they beat us in the Sweet 16. And I said, well, for this team to be better, they have to win the national championship because last year's team won the national championship. And now they've won it again. And I don't know. I think the last national champ was better with Sonogo and that team. I thought they were the better team. And I think that will be a great argument for UConn fans to have for years to come.
Yeah, that's a good argument to have when you've won consecutive national championship games and you're wondering which team was better.
When you think about it, last year's Aztec team is the only team in the last 2 years to really give UConn a fight. Like it was a 5-point game with about 5 minutes to go. No other team even was close to that this year against UConn. It was a blowout almost every game, it felt like. So, hey, you guys can hang your hat on that maybe, you gave UConn the best fight of any team in the last 2 years, even though it was the national championship and losing's not, there's no participation trophy there, but still it's a little something.
Yeah. The job that Coach Hurley's done. And he shook my hand before and after the game and he said, "You're a beast. You're a beast." And I'm like, "I'm a beast.
I'm a beast.
Yeah, I'm a beast. I wish I had a few more beasts on the floor. We might have beat you." But I mean, he's a good guy. He's an interesting guy. And he's done an incredible job coaching that team. And so credit to them and to Coach Hurley.
I always go back to a year ago when you were in the national championship game and even what you told your team post-game, because we've seen video on social media, you said, if we run into a team that's really, really good, then we tip our cap. I mean, you went through everyone, Alabama, Creighton, an FAU team that was red hot, but you ran into a team that on that night, and again, you gave them, we had said going into the game, I think you may have said it, if we could get it to 5 with like 5 minutes left, the way we've played this year, we've always put ourselves in a position where we believe we can win a game like that. You got it to 5, but they just made a couple of plays.
Absolutely. I mean, they hit the killer 3-point shot on Lamont.
Yeah.
That made it 5-8, and then they spurted like they do on everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, when they get the lead late, the way they run offense and turn the ball over back and forth, side to side, and move that ball, they shorten that game so fast, and then they score at the end of the shot clock. They just put you away slowly. This year's game, I felt like the mistake I might have made, I was convinced that if Jaden got 2 fouls in the first half, I was going to play him. I wanted my best players on the floor. And then it got to be like 4 minutes to go in the first half, and we were maybe within 4 points.
Yeah.
I thought, well, we're close enough. Let me take Jaden out for the last 4 minutes so he doesn't get his third.
Yeah.
And they spurt to 9-point lead at halftime. And you always second guess yourself. Maybe I should have just left him on the floor and roll the dice and try to keep it as close as I can, as long as I could. And then they end up winning by 30 points. And then the next night, they're 23-23 tied with Illinois. And you look up and the score's 53-23. They scored 30 in a row. When does that ever happen in an Elite Eight game? So they were special, and they deserve the title.
Dutch, there's a lot to get into. We're going to have Brian Dutcher, head coach of the Aztecs, with us for the next 10 or 15 minutes. I do want to mention Mesa Foundation and the work they're doing and the critical importance it's playing for men's and women's basketball at San Diego State. Again, all donations up to $300,000 between now and May 15th are going to be matched. You can go to mesafoundationsd.org. For our listeners, I mean, you're living this day in and day out. How crucial are these collectives right now in the transfer portal and for college basketball?
If San Diego State basketball is important to you, then you have to support us through the Mesa Foundation. And we do everything we can every day, working our butts off to put a good product on the floor. And now part of college basketball is the NIL, the collectives. Mm-hmm. And so when you throw out there, they're going to match up to $300,000. Everyone thinks, well, I got to be a big money person to help. That's not the case at all. Get in at $20 a month. Every dollar you spend is helping Aztec basketball. And so I don't think we're just San Diego State important. We're San Diego important. We're important to the city. And we play for the city. We don't just play for San Diego State. We play for the city of San Diego. And I think the product we put out there is worth some kind of support. And it's the day and age we're dealing with. Will it change over the years? Will NIL change? Absolutely. Everything changes with sports. And we're going to count, fortunately or unfortunately, on government to help us with this problem or this solution or this good thing. And it is what it is. And if you want to help us now, keep us relevant, then you have to help us with Mesa Foundation.
And with the NIL and with the transfer portal and how much it affects everything now in college basketball for you, how have you changed as far as, going through the transfer portal over the years and recruiting kids now with the inclusion of the NIL?
Listen, we were a master of the transfer portal before they called it the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. Whether it was JJ O'Brien, Malachi Flynn, Yanni Wetzel. Just go down the list of the great players that play here. Xavier Thames, Dwayne Polee, Josh Davis, maybe the best rebounder we ever had, and continue to work yourself down that list. Reese Waters now, Michah Parish, Jaden Ledee.
Yeah.
So these are players that we could get and can still get, but we can't get them for free anymore. Everybody is dealing with some sort of NIL number, and that's what it is now. And so for us to remain relevant, we'll put the work in, but we have to have help. We have to have help from the city. We have to have help from Aztec Nation. And like I said, it can be as little as $20 a month to help us be relevant in college basketball, to help us on equal footing as long as we can be there.
Donations matched, starting, like Dutch said, at $20 a month. Mesa Foundation, SD.org. You mentioned Chris Acker, who did an amazing job for you on the Mesa, part of these wonderful teams with you on your bench. He gets rewarded with the Long Beach State opportunity, which is terrific for him, but that does create a vacancy. So how does that process play out? And do you have a timeline or a hope for filling that position?
I've been talking to a lot of candidates and some that I really, really like. I've got nothing but great choices. And now I have to make the best choice to fit our team, fit our staff moving forward. It's actually third on my list. It's talking to last year's team, seeing who's coming back, who we're going to bring back. It's talking about new additions, because that's moving at a lightning pace. You know, we can't rest on the portal. The portal's moving. It's in motion every day. So we're doing that. And then the third thing on the list is getting a good assistant coach. So I want to get a guy hired. I have great candidates, but that's the third on my list of things to do right now.
Jaden Ledee's season is an all-timer. Third-team All-American, probably should have been higher. Didn't win the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year, probably should have. And we've had this discussion here on Jon and Jim, the rankings, and I know it's a lot of sports talk radio stuff, right? But like for you, when you've been here a long time and you've seen a lot of great seasons from great players. Malachi is the most recent one, Jaden here. For you, where do you put, I guess, Jaden's season in Aztec history overall? And you've been here for a long time, so you have a good understanding of what a history is.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm never going to admit the media got it right, but the media made Jaden Ledee their player of the year.
Right.
The coaches didn't.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Hats off to the media. They had better insight than the coaches on that.
Yeah.
And then for him to win the Karl Malone Award for the top power forward in the country, we've never had anybody do that. And so Jaden had a dream season, not only for himself, but for his teammates. And obviously, we want to hang banners. We're disappointed we didn't win the regular season or postseason Mountain West title. We're going to hang a Sweet 16 banner, which has never been done, where we've gone back-to-back Sweet 16s. And so we're proud of that. We finished the season ranked in the top 20. So a lot of great accomplishments, and none of them happened without Jaden Ledee being the player he was.
How do you think, Dutch, his game will translate to the next level? That's the question.
He's versatile enough where it can happen. You've seen the NBA now. They don't love the true college center anymore. Right. The more interesting question is, how will a Zach Edey fit in the NBA? They're not playing those guys very often. Ledee is way more versatile. He shoots the jump shot. He drives the ball. He handles the ball. He's strong. So I think his versatility, not the fact that he was just a low post scorer, will give him a chance at that level.
What kind of growth do you want to see over this offseason and into next year for guys like Miles Heide and Elijah Saunders and Miles Bird?
Heidi's on track. I mean, we didn't play a freshman any minutes last year, really.
Yeah.
Elijah got a few, Bird got less than that, and Heide got a lot of minutes as a freshman. So I'm real happy with his ability to come in and spell Jaden for a minute or two and a half. Saunders and Bird, this is their time to make the next step. This is going into their junior year. And back in the old days of coaching, we'd recruit guys at Michigan and go, well, by the time he's a junior, he's going to be really good. We didn't even think about freshmen and sophomores being stars.
Right.
So these guys are right on the path they need to be on. They were both had magical moments this year where we don't win games without them. And now they're stepping from their sophomore to their junior year. This is the big step year for them.
Brian Dutcher with us here, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Again, if you're interested in supporting the future of San Diego State men's basketball, Mesa Foundation, SD.org, your donation will be matched between now and May 15th. A name that you hear a lot about with San Diego State fans, but we haven't yet seen on floor, Magoon Guath. who redshirted this past year, 7 feet tall, injured coming into his true freshman season. What can you tell our listeners that are excited about Magoon? They haven't seen him obviously in a game. They're not a part of practices. What's the future hold for Magoon at San Diego State?
Well, in coaching, the guys that sit out are always your favorite players. You always think this guy's going to be fantastic.
Right, yeah.
So they're not in the games. They're not under that pressure. But I think Magoon's going to be a really, really good player. I mean, he's versatile at 7 feet tall. He shoots jump shots. He can play off the dribble. Inside, he's capable of jump hook, dunking the ball. He blocks shots. So his greatest deficit's going to be he's a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
As far as talent and potential, it's all there. Now it's how quickly can he acclimate to the game, the physicality, every possession's important type situations. But he's going to be a special player.
Usually when we see the non-conference schedule for you guys, it's kind of like indicative of how good you think your team could be, because you sometimes have really tough, like this past year was a really tough non-conference schedule. You thought this team was going to be really good. They made the Sweet 16. For you this upcoming season, what's like your priorities for the non-conference schedule? And especially now with 20 conference games coming up here in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to play anybody on the West Coast that wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
I hate traveling time zones. I don't want to have to go to an East Coast to get a good game.
Yeah.
So anybody in the former Pac-12, now it's Big Ten, ACC, they're all off the different leagues.
Right.
And so last year we played Cal, we played Washington, we played Stanford. And, they had okay years. They didn't have great years. But then St. Mary's, Gonzaga, we played them. They had really good years.
Mm-hmm.
We went to BYU, we went to Grand Canyon, hostile environments. And so we're willing to play anybody, anytime, anywhere on the West Coast. There's an NIL event in Vegas that we're trying to be a part of. We want in it. They're going to have us in it, but they're still working through the details of it. And so at times you hear the field could include Alabama, Oregon, Michigan, maybe you hear the field who could be in it, but they're still going through detail work. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with broadcast rights. If it's not a exempt event, exempt events control their broadcast rights. But if it's just a tournament type situation, then the conferences fight for those broadcast rights. So I think there's detail work still going through it. But we want to be a part of it. We want to play a Maui type field in Vegas where our fans can get there, drive or fly over and watch us play elite competition. That's what our goal is in trying to get into that event.
Dutch, we know you can't talk specifics with like student athletes in the transfer portal, but in terms of what you see as needs, just based on who has lost eligibility, someone like Darion Trammell, Jaden Ledee, we know Cade Alger has put himself in the transfer portal as well. Based on what you're losing, what does that create in terms of needs for you in the portal?
We're trying to, obviously we feel we lost some guard play. We need guard play. We need some size to step in. So a little bit of everything, and then sometimes it's just best available player.
Right.
That's better than you normally can get at certain positions. So we're talking to every position in the portal. We're trying to figure out what's the best match for what we got coming back. I don't want a bad locker room. I want guys that are about the right things. I don't want to just take talent that's not about the right things. And I think we do that at an elite level. We take guys that want to win, that want to be part of our culture, that want to get better every day. And so sometimes the names don't match what people think we should be after, but the character does. And that's what we're into the portal for. Good players with good character.
You mentioned your freshman this past year, BJ Davis, Miles Heide, and then you look at your incoming class. Can you tell us a bit about them? Pharaoh Compton, Taj DeGorville. I think I'm saying the last name right. David Majak, as well as part of your class. What can you tell us about the incoming class you have?
Taj is big and strong enough to play as a freshman. He's physically gifted. He's a very good passer, very good playmaker. Pharaoh has what you want in a big. He's got like a 7'3" wingspan. So he might be 6'8", might be 6'9", but the 7'3" wingspan is what you're looking for. So an elite finisher around the rim. And I'm not talking just dunking the ball. He dunks an elite level, but they're not going to give you all those dunks in college. It's can you finish around with an extended arm, with a little jump hook. He's got all that. And like all Aztecs, develop in the perimeter game, but athletically as good as we've ever had. And then David is a guy that's thin, but 7 foot tall, going to develop in our program. May need to gain strength. And like I hate to pigeonhole these guys what they're going to be. They got a whole summer to continue to work on their games.
Yeah.
And sometimes they hit stride and they're ready to go as freshmen. Sometimes they need a little extra time, but that's on them. The work they put in over the summer, not only strength-wise, but competition-wise, it'll have them ready to play as freshmen.
This has been amazing for Aztec basketball fans. The offseason is just underway, but we've basically learned everything we need to know about San Diego State heading into 24-25. One more time, Dutch, before you go. For our listeners that are concerned about the future of San Diego State basketball and the role that NIL and the transfer portal is playing, Mesa Foundation SD.org is the place to go. Your donations are matched. But again, for our listeners that are still trying to understand this whole process, this is something that is vital, not just for San Diego State, but just for college basketball programs. But if you support San Diego State, the way to do it is through this collective, right?
Absolutely. It's the only way to do it. And the thing is, we all work in businesses where they change regulations in businesses. Your tax rate might go up. Well, you're paying more taxes this year than you paid in the past.
Yeah.
And some things you can't control, so you live with them. NIL is important to us. It will change over the years, but right now, this is the state it's in. And for us to be relevant as a program, we have to support Mesa Foundation. We have to embrace NIL because it's the current nature of the game. And everybody's dealing with those same rules and regulations. It's across the country. It's not just San Diego State. Every basketball program that seeks to maintain the level they played at of relevancy in the future has to embrace NIL. And the best way to do it with us is get involved with Mesa Foundation, SD.org. And it doesn't have, you don't have to say, well, I don't have that kind of money to help at that level. You don't have to have that kind of money. Any level helps. Any way you can get involved and help San Diego State basketball is not only appreciated, but it's needed.
Mesa Foundation, SD.org. Donations are doubled. Dutch, it is great to see you in studio. Congrats again. What a run San Diego State basketball is on. Back-to-back Sweet 16s. Appreciate you hopping on. Thanks for doing it.
I've been in the studio in a while.
I
This
know.
is really nice to be back.
I know.
Yeah, when is the
Thanks
last
for
time
having
you were
me.
here? You were here like
For
maybe a couple,
coaches shows.
Probably like
a couple years ago.
pre-COVID almost.
Yeah, pre-COVID.
Yeah,
We
that's
used to
right.
do it,
Yep.
off-site at the restaurants.
Yes,
And
that's right.
we did it at every different level. So it's
That's
good to
right.
be back in the studio, and I appreciate you guys having me.
Dutch,
Thank you.
great to see you. On the other side, we'll set up the rest of the show. It's Jon and Jim. Stay with us.
That is fun, that's accountable to the guys who are doing their parts. It's smart, it's tough, a good, fun product for everyone to be at and for us to bring championships back to the Mesa.
Weekday morning.
It was great to connect with Brian Dutcher, head coach of the Aztecs, in studio. So apparently, while we were interviewing Brian Dutcher,
breaking news.
And Michah Parish has entered the transfer portal. He's going to go through the draft process with the option to return to San Diego State as well, which is kind of what Dutch, I don't want to put words in his mouth. We'd have to go back and listen, but he kind of mentioned that with Michah, he's got options. Like all of these players, Lamont has options. He has said he could go pro, he could come back. Reese Waters, he said, could test NBA waters as well. But Michah Parish, this shouldn't really come as a surprise if you have followed college basketball, if you kind of understand the dynamics at play, especially with successful programs like San Diego State. You have options, one of which is to consider a pro route. That's absolutely a possibility for someone like Michah Parish. NBA, Europe, G League. Then could you enter the portal and end up elsewhere? Of course he could. And is San Diego State still a possible destination? Yes, according to John Rothstein, who put out the initial tweet 22 minutes ago. So we had Dutch in studio, but Michah Parish, official, is currently in the portal.
And if he does not return, if he does go somewhere else, or if he does decide he wants to, pursue his professional career overseas or whatever the case may be, I think everybody should look at what he accomplished here and not have it be a situation where I can't believe he doesn't want to come back. Why is he going to the transfer portal? Why was it? Guys, the last 2 years are the best 2 years in the history of the program. And Michah Parish was a part of both of those years.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a part of them in a big way. Yes, if you're an Aztecs fan, do you want to see parts of the last 2 years team return? Yes, you do. But at the same time, you have to let these kids and these guys do what they want to do. And if they want to go somewhere else, they want to pursue something else, then that's their right. And I don't think anybody should be upset with them, because instead you should be praising them. You should be celebrating them because of what they accomplished here on the Mesa.
I completely agree. It's just it's a different time. And even I think by and large, Aztec fans were very supportive of Keyshawn Johnson. But some people weren't, and it rubbed them the wrong way. But here's the thing. He graduated from San Diego State. He played on the Mesa for 4 years. It's hard to ask for more than that when you have players spending 1 year at 4 or 5 different schools. To get any type of consistency is almost more of the exception to the rule at this point. So the way I would look at it is the way you just said it, which is you wish Michah Parish the very best. And if it means coming back to San Diego State, then maybe that's what's best for Michah and the program. If it means going elsewhere, it's understandable. There are thousands. That's not cliche. Literally, there are thousands of players right now, like half of college basketball, that is in the portal. Now, what we do know in talking to Dutch is you have hopefully players like Elijah Saunders and Miles Byrd and Miles Heide and BJ Davis, the possibility of someone like Lamont Butler, Reese Waters. Your starting point plus your freshman class coming in, you've got this core of 6, 7, 8 before you even quote unquote attack the portal. And San Diego State, like Dutch said, has always been very good. Bless you.
How happy are you that I didn't sneeze during a Dutch interview?
Relatively happy. Yeah, pretty happy.
He didn't sneeze on Dutch.
Yes, I am happy you didn't do that.
I'm just glad that he got to hear how
I was wondering if Brent was going to play that open for the first hour or not. Or just play like that. Let's just start the show.
I debated it, and I played it for J-Riff, and he goes, it's pretty funny. And I said, I think Dutch will think it's funny. So
he thought I was an idiot.
Yeah, he did. He did.
So now, it's not like he hasn't listened to the show before.
Exactly.
So he probably already thinks that.
Exactly.
That's true.
But they've hit in the portal with such precision. Malachi Flynn, Jaden Ledee, Darion Trammell, Reese Waters. These are huge additions. These aren't just they've added some pieces that have been helpful. They've added All-Americans in the last 5 years, 2 of them.
And what did Dutch tell us when we asked him about the portal? We were the masters of the portal before the portal was even really a thing.
Right. You had to sit out a year.
Yeah.
There were less transfers.
Mm-hmm. And the NIL didn't play any factor in it.
Exactly.
Jaden had to sit out. A year.
Yeah,
correct?
he was a 2-time transfer. Yes.
And now that's not the case anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why you look at this program and when I think of the transfer portal, I know I'm very biased and I cover San Diego State on a daily basis. But if Dutch is right, this team in this program, and especially him, they were doing the transfer portal before the transfer portal became this thing.
Right.
And so that's why you trust him with whatever moves that they make in the portal, because they've done it. They were doing it before everybody else.
How cool was it?
Even though now everyone's doing it the same, but
right. Still. And by the way, what is going to be interesting is now that everyone is going the portal route, it will be interesting to see how high school recruiting changes moving forward. There might be more opportunities to get high-level players out of high school because there's so much interest in veteran players in the portal. So it's going back and forth. What I found really interesting was when he talked about that NIL event that we had talked about like a month ago. We were on the Mesa when that news came out.
They're like, oh, we're going to be in it, maybe.
Right. If this event occurs, it sounds like San Diego State is well set up to be in it. I think they call it like the Players Era NIL event, or I don't even know. But this is a fascinating event because each team's collective, I believe, or student athletes could receive like $1 million or more for playing in this event. You're going to have some of the biggest programs in college basketball, including San Diego State, if this event takes place. But we talk about the importance of the Mesa Foundation collectives, NIL compensation. You get in an event that pays your student athletes $1 million in totality, not every player getting $1 million, but like the scholarship student athletes dividing $1 million, and you're playing schools like, what does he say, Michigan State and Oregon and others. I mean, that could be a pretty incredible event if it comes to fruition.
That'd be cool. Could. Now, he didn't confirm that they're in it.
Right.
But he just mentioned, we want to be in it. And it sounded like the way that things was leaning, that this is something that could be a real possibility, which, I mean, would be great. And I think it's like a no-brainer in my opinion. Right?
Yeah, it would be. No, it's a no-brainer.
If you had the opportunity to do it, it's not like you can just flip a switch, call somebody and say, hey, we want to be in the tournament. I think there's like things that have to go in it to be in it.
Like
right?
It has to exist.
Well, it has to exist. And I'm sure there's some criteria, right? For certain teams to be in it.
I don't know if there's criteria or not, but I think if it exists, San Diego State clearly wants to be in it because it offers high-quality opponents. They're always thinking about their resume and their metrics and their non-conference schedule.
Las Vegas.
And it it's in Las Vegas. You don't have to travel for it. And it provides NIL resources for student athletes.
I think it's perfect.
What'd you think of, it was interesting because he said in the portal, we're looking for a little bit of everything, which makes sense. You're losing someone like Darion Trammell. You could be losing someone like Michah Parish. You lost an All-American in Jaden Ledee. He said, or you're just going for the best available player potentially as well. He said, I think off the top of the interview, hey, we'll have some, transfer portal guys on campus over the course of the next handful of days. So that's well underway. Rest assured, San Diego State, to some form or fashion, is going to be adding via the portal. The question is who, when, and what, but they'll be adding in the portal like most programs around the country.
They always add in the portal.
Yeah.
And usually they always add impactful people in the portal. Maybe the last time that they didn't add an impactful piece in the portal.
I mean, the two pieces they added this year were huge parts of the rotation. Reese Waters, who was and Jay Powell, who started for the second half of the year.
Mm-hmm.
The year before that, you had a Darion Trammell in the national championship game.
Michah Parish.
You had a Michah Parish. The year before that, you had a Jaden Ledee. So, yeah, in the staff, in Dutch, if you're an Aztec fan, you absolutely have to trust what they're going to do in the portal.
It feels like, at least for the last couple of years, they have always added an impactful piece that ends up either being like a starter or a key role player off their bench. But whoever they add in the portal, maybe not every one of them plays right away, but they always at least add one impactful guy.
100%.
And probably two. I mean, it's something that that they're going to be doing. They're not going to be sitting on the sideline and not utilizing the portal to the best of their ability. And I can't wait to see what happens. I know that you're more of like, okay, Jim, look who's in the portal. I'm more of a like, I just want the hot dog.
Just tell me when they sign someone.
Yeah. Like, just tell me when they sign somebody. I don't care how the sausage is made. Like, I want to give me something when it's like actually concrete.
I like the whole process.
I know you do.
All right. On the other side, we'll get you ready for round 2 already this season between the Padres and the Dodgers, and the latest on the fallout of Shohei Ohtani's translator, who has now pled guilty to charges filed by the FBI. We have the latest on the other side. Plus, the wrap is still ahead. Plus, we'll tell you about our giveaway. We have Neil Young tickets here today. We're with you until 6 o'clock. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, the latest on the fallout involving Shohei Ohtani's former interpreter. Plus, we'll get you ready for round 2, Padres Dodgers. It kicks off tomorrow night. That's next. All right, Shohei Ohtani. I mean, what are we supposed to truly believe here? You and I talked off air about this a little bit. Is he either the smartest athlete of all time or the dumbest? This is supposedly the player that introduced the idea of a $680 million deferral to his agent, but doesn't know that tens of millions of dollars were being fraudulently taken out of his accounts.
So here's the thing. The Feds released this long, lengthy report today. I think it was almost 40 pages long. Did I read all 40 pages? No.
Did you read any of it?
I did.
You just read like a tweet, right?
No, I read like
The headline.
No, not a headline. I read multiple pages as far as like text messages go. And
so you're an expert on the subject. So what'd you learn?
I'm not an expert.
No, I want to hear because I didn't read any of it. So what'd you learn?
Well, Ipe is if after reading the stuff you read, it's like, okay, Ipe did steal money from Ohtani. Like it feels.
You're saying definitively it was Ipe and Ipe alone,
No,
and
no, no.
Ohtani had no knowledge of it?
No, what I'm saying is Ipe did something because there's no way that the Feds released this stuff and he could face up to 30 years in jail and it was a giant cover up. I don't think it's a giant cover up. I don't think that Ipe didn't do anything wrong because I think he did do stuff wrong here. But what I will say is going from the first report when the teams were in Seoul, South Korea, and you had Shohei's team give Ipe to ESPN, and he relayed to them that Ohtani knew about this. And then just hours later, you have all of a sudden him going back and like, actually, I lied. He didn't know anything about this.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ohtani is claiming that he stole millions of dollars from me. And then we get to today, right? The Feds, Ohtani gives the Feds his phone, all that stuff. What I can't get over, and I don't know if anything will like make me believe otherwise. Either Ipe is the smartest, like, mastermind to steal all this money from Shohei Ohtani, or he's the fall guy.
No, but you just said
I know
that if the FBI conducted this thorough investigation and released a 40-page report that Ipe is the primary culprit.
I think he's the primary culprit, but it's just so hard to like fully 100% believe it because of everything that's been reported and how these stories have changed multiple times. And you have Ohtani being like apparently the most trustworthy person on the planet to give Ipe access to his bank accounts, even though I guess Ipe made it so anytime he would take money out, Ohtani would never see it.
No, but it's still fishy. I mean, he made tens of thousands of wagers. He lost $180 million. Now he made 140.
So he lost.
But that's a net minus $40 million proposition.
Yeah.
He quote unquote never bet on baseball. They spent 365 days a year together. That's based on what they've said about their own relationship with each other. Yet Shohei Ohtani never once had an inkling, hey, Ipe, why are we watching women's soccer on ESPN Plus today?
The craziest part is Ohtani is very smart. And if you are saying that he knew nothing, I would be kind of questioning that. And I would go to Ohtani and be like, how did you not know anything?
How could you be that naive but set up the richest, most lucrative deal in baseball history that includes the first ever deferral of 95% of a contract that you initiated with both your agent and the team that you ended up signing with?
And what the reports from the Fed today basically said was that Ipe is this crazy, that whole thing that happened was on Ipe. He did it alone, and he is this like genius mastermind guy that stole all this money and did all this stuff,
but sucks at betting.
But not only sucks at betting, but if you look at the bets that he was making, no smart person goes from like, you know what, I'm just gonna bet $10 on something. No, you are a degenerate gambler who is completely clueless on like how to gamble. But then you're on the other flip side, you're like this mastermind person who stole this money.
Look, genius masterminds don't get caught.
Exactly.
Well, that too. But is this the dumbest case that's going to get someone in jail like ever? You are like a superstar in Japan. You're paid handsomely in the US. You have such a desirable job. By many would consider it one of the great jobs you could possibly envision. You don't have to go 2 for 3 every night with a home run. You're translating for the most famous athlete on the planet, arguably, or one of them. And you've made tens of thousands of bets, including on women's college soccer, and lost $40-something million on the side.
I just think it's odd that, my credit card got flagged once because someone tried to use it at a KFC in Atlanta for $26. You're telling me he took $4 million out and he didn't get like
more?
16. There's 4 in like the one
transaction.
One transaction. He didn't get some sort of notification that said, "Hey, just checking. Did you take out this $4 million from the bank?"
I got to do the 2-factor authentication to get into my iHeart email.
Exactly.
Shouldn't he get the 2-factor authentication to take out $4 million?
It just shows that never trust anybody, right? It feels that way. Like, yeah, exactly.
No, it goes beyond. How naive can you be?
I know.
How naive can you be?
Very naive, apparently.
Like, how naive can you be if you literally spend every day?
Concerned, I'm the most naive SOB in the world.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know if naive is like an argument.
Take mercy on me, jury.
The court of public opinion doesn't care about this, because when you have, here's the thing, if this was one continuous story, how Ipe went to ESPN, said that Ohtani didn't know about anything, and then there was no, I guess, and I know Ipe like pretended to be Shohei Ohtani to get money out of the bank and stuff, or get money to this bookie. And if the bookie thought that Ohtani was doing this whole time, it's just a weird situation. The stories are all different. Nothing's a straight line through this. It doesn't make sense. There's a fishiness to this whole thing when you have like a lot of people sitting there questioning, wait, how did Ohtani not know about this?
What? But one more point. How do we explain night one in Korea, their interaction back and forth in the dugout, which was playful and friendly, to what has transpired here? And Ohtani already knew about this at that time. So because Ippei that night told the team, hey, I'm a degenerate gambler that's been stealing money. And then we see this quote from the U.S. Attorney's Office today. I want to emphasize this point. Mr. Ohtani is considered a victim in this case.
Oh no. You know what? You know who I have no sympathy for is extremely rich people that are crying about like money problems.
Right, completely mismanaging it. I mean, again,
mismanaging their money funds.
You've got the richest deal in like sports history, yet you don't check your Wells Fargo to know you're missing tens of millions of dollars.
I don't feel bad for 1 second for a multi-millionaire who trusts his best friend to give him all of his bank accounts, and then that best friend, quote best friend, takes advantage of him and then steals a bunch of money. No sympathy, buddy. You should know better. And also you should be making sure that you know what is going on with your bank accounts and your best friend that you gave every single seemingly password to.
Real quick too, doesn't he have an accountant?
Somebody has to know something.
Yeah, doesn't he file taxes every year?
When you become a millionaire, are you like automatically required to get an accountant to help keep track of all your money you have?
And let me get this straight real quick, and we'll step aside because we're up against it. He made 19,000 bets. Or is it more than that? Or was it 100?
It was around 19.
Okay, he made 19,000 bets,
change.
but never desired to bet on baseball. Amazingly, made 19,000 bets, but knew the line was baseball. He was willing to wager $180 million, of which he lost $40 million.
I need to know.
But never bet on baseball.
I need to know what he bet that $10 on, because there was a $10 bet in the report.
Maybe that was like one of those 5-team parlays that paid well.
Man, this guy's an idiot.
Team Cody.
The wrap is on the other side. We have Neil Young tickets to give away in the 4:00 hour. By the way, Masters Day 1 still happening, or is it in the books, Day 1?
Still happening, John.
Still going on. Ryan Harrington, Golf Digest managing editor, will join us at 5:30. Hour 2, Jon and Jim next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres, they have an off day today, coming off their first series win of the year versus the Cubs yesterday as they won 10-2. They take on the Dodgers tomorrow night at Dodger Stadium to start their 6-game road trip through LA and Milwaukee. Look at the Masters leaderboard right now. This Masters update is brought to you by the Golf Mart. Bryson DeChambeau, 7 under par. Scotty Scheffler is 6 under par. And just looking where Tiger Woods is at on the leaderboard, he is 1 under par currently. Your boy Xander Schauffele is even for the day. And OJ Simpson is dead at the age of 76. Staples can print anything you need to move your businesses forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print marketing expert.
San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 2, Jon and Jim. If you missed our conversation with Brian Dutcher, you can find it at sportsSD.com or the iHeartRadio app. Did you mention Michah Parish in your updates or no?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Unbelievable.
My bad.
Now, we caught up with Dutch on basically everything. During our conversation, Michah Parish officially went in the transfer portal, which was always a possibility.
Correct.
I mean, always a possibility. And we wish Michah the best. Now, according to John Rothstein, he's going to put his name in the NBA draft to test those waters, maintain his eligibility. I think he said, Rothstein did, that San Diego State remains a possibility. Now, I saw what Michah said on Instagram, which was, I'm going in the portal and I'm testing NBA waters. I don't think he mentioned the possibility of returning to San Diego State. So we wish Michah the best, no matter what the future holds for him. And again, if you missed our conversation with Brian Dutcher, you can check it out at sportsSD.com or on the iHeartRadio app. What did you say about Tiger Woods in the update? Because I didn't hear any of it. I didn't know if you mentioned Michah. Is Tiger Woods like having a good round?
He's 1 under right now.
That's good. Right?
I mean, he's made how many consecutive cuts has he made at the Masters? Like 20 something?
23.
And right now, he is on the 10th hole, John. He is 1 under par currently. He birdied the first hole. I saw only him play through 4 holes because we don't have it on in the studio because I don't know. Anyway,
Brent's not exactly into
I know
golf.
he doesn't like golf.
You guys have 7 TVs in there. Pick one of those.
Well,
Dropping the mic. That's it.
Okay. Well,
we don't know how to change.
We don't know how to change it, and these TVs always get changed. So some.
We're watching
stuff.
darts.
I know,
which is actually pretty entertaining.
Anyway,
but he's not going to finish around if he's on the 10th hole at 7:08 Eastern, is he? 7:08 p.m.
It's a good question, John.
I don't know. Right?
Today the first day.
It's the first day.
His
just
back,
gets out
back
early.
will go out by tomorrow.
Wow. So where is he? You say he's 1 under through 9. Where does that put him? Like, is that top 10, top 20, top 30? Where's that?
Tied for 18th right now.
Oh, he's winning this thing.
Bryson DeChambeau is at 7 under par. Shot 65 today.
Oh, he's Tiger's.
Scotty Scheffler shot a 66.
What about Xander?
Not the best day for Xander, honestly.
What did he shoot?
Where is he? Hold on. I'm looking. I'm trying to find him. He's even par.
Okay.
He shot a 72 today.
Okay.
So yeah.
Good breakdown.
I want to see who was the worst today of big names, anybody, but Hideki Matsuyama +4, Ricky Fowler +4, Zach Johnson was +4 today.
What would you shoot there?
Morikawa +2.
What would you shoot?
Honestly?
Yeah.
I wouldn't break 100.
Okay. Like with it in these conditions, like for the PGA,
these
like
actual
for this
conditions,
event,
I would shoot like my best. If I played my best golf, my absolute best, I'd probably shoot in like the high 90s, mid 90s.
I heard 200.
Mid 90s best.
Okay.
Because I'm just factoring in how difficult the course would be in these conditions.
Would you deal well with the gallery and having like your partner be like Tiger Woods?
No, I would hit people left and right. It'd be god awful.
I know.
It'd be horrible. I remember playing at the Farmers or not the Farmers, but
you were like on tour, right?
I was playing at Torrey right before the Farmers,
right? Like the media day.
And I remember the first hole, I hit like a really good shot, just right of the fairway, kind of rolled in the rough. I couldn't find my ball, and I'm thinking to myself, wait, this is like the conditions that the pros have. They hit a great shot and it goes in the rough. You can't find it.
Well, in real golf, aren't there like people that are looking for the balls of the professionals?
There's like ushers everywhere and everything. But still, for me, I'm like, I just hit a great ball. I can't find it. I got to take a drop right here. And that's I got to like take a stroke, even though I hit a great shot and I can't find it because it rolled in the rough.
Don't quit the day job.
I love golf, but I'm just saying right now, because I know if I said, yeah, I'd shoot like mid 80s at the Augusta, I'd be lying to you.
I probably wouldn't shoot better than 76. All right, let's get to this.
How will you remember OJ Simpson?
Murderer.
Alleged.
White Bronco.
So how old are you? I always do this. Let's do the math on this.
35.
So this happened when you were 4 or 5 years old? Is that right?
Yeah.
The Bronco chase, NBA Finals.
Yeah.
They cut in Knicks Rockets, I want to say.
Knicks Rockets, yes.
Yeah, I remember it. So you were young is my point.
I was very
You
young.
remember this more as you were getting older, right?
Yeah.
Like the stories of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you think White Bronco, you think OJ Simpson. When you think the glove don't fit, you must have quit. You think OJ Simpson. I mean,
right. I mean, what else are you supposed to say? I mean, how I will remember him is for the victims of this double murder.
Yeah.
First and foremost, which was horrific. Secondly, I won't remember him the way the Heisman Trust apparently will remember him.
Bro.
They put out a very heartfelt tweet today.
No heartfelt tweets for OJ Simpson today.
Is it still up, by the way? I'm going to look this up. The Heisman Trust.
Up?
I have no idea. Was it even real? Does the Heisman? Okay, here it is. The Heisman Trophy 7 hours ago. The Heisman Trophy Trust mourns the passing of 1968 Heisman Trophy winner OJ Simpson. They did take it away, did they not?
Did they take the Heisman away?
We extend our sympathies
he sold it.
to his family.
He sold it. Yeah, he sold it. And then
so he kept it, but Reggie Bush lost it.
You take away a Heisman for a guy that took some money under the table, and then you let the guy that like
was civilly
convicted.
It was civilly he was
Brent.
Hey,
and then later convicted
of man. That's how they work.
But later convicted of a federal crime that kept him in jail for 9 or 10 years, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
so he's a
robbery.
He's a felon.
But that was a separate thing, though.
Well, the Heisman Trophy remembers him differently than we do. Next question.
Well, ESPN did the same thing. They had a bunch of gushing pieces on
I
him,
did.
too.
Yeah, there was some interesting reaction to ESPN's coverage of it today. Did you see any of that?
It's like, just stay away from it.
Yeah,
just don't mention it. Like,
right.
why?
The lead host was like, can you separate his accomplishments on field with the circumstance that played out involving the murder of two individuals? And Jeremy Schaap was like, no, you can't do that.
No,
you can't. Even though he rushed for 2,000 yards, you cannot do that.
No, 2,000 yards is not.
It doesn't make up for anything.
Just make up for like two people.
Do you have
murdered.
it, Brent? Oh, I thought you were pulling up audio because you heard it.
No.
All right, next question.
Today is Sean Lewis's 38th birthday.
Yes.
Will he lead the Aztecs to a bowl game in his first year on La Mesa?
I don't know if I could definitively say yes.
No, not definitively. Your opinion.
Well, you asked me a yes or no question.
No. Yeah, we did. Your opinion. I mean, we're not going to hold you to it.
I'll just say no right now.
You're going to say no.
I don't know. Like, yes, they'll make a bowl game, but
No,
I
you
don't even know how the team is. I don't know how the team looks. I don't know who the quarterback is.
Can you do the Debbie Downer sound? Okay, here's the issue. The schedule. The schedule's the issue. You play Oregon State, Cal, Washington State, Boise State, right? So there's challenging games in there. Now, you got to get to 6 games. You got to get to 6 wins, excuse me, which I do think is doable. I mean, they went 4-8 last year, right? They went 4-8. They weren't 0-12. So I think it's doable. It probably involves maybe getting one of the three I mentioned: Oregon State, Cal, Washington State. Two of those are at home. To your point, there's a lot of questions. It's only spring football. They haven't even had their spring game, which is over a week away. But I do think 6 wins is absolutely realistic for San Diego State football in 2024, unlike Jim Russell. Next question.
What is the Aztecs' biggest need in the transfer portal?
Like the basketball team?
Yes.
No, the volleyball team.
Their biggest need to me is scoring. You lose a guy that scored 20 plus points for you last year.
Right.
You're going to need scoring. And Michah, looks like you may have lost Michah as well through the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows about Reese and Lamont? You're going to need scoring. You just are. How big of a jump can Elijah Saunders and Miles Bird make? They can make jumps, but can they make jumps to where they're one of them scoring 15 plus points a game? Potentially.
That's a good. Okay, so to your point, Jaden scored 20 points per game this past year. Isn't that right? Or was it a little higher than that? It was an amazing year. 21.4. Now, Michah Parish this past year averaged 9 points per game, 9.3. So, yeah, there's no question. I mean, obviously, if you're replacing Jaden Ledee, you're replacing one of the best players in the country. So you have to find a way to make up for that. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Again, you just trust the staff because you know what they've been able to do year in and year out. And I still kind of like, we'll see. If Lamont and Reese are back, teaming with Saunders and Bird and Heidi, BJ Davis got a little bit of run this year, plus your freshman class. I mean, I still feel really good about their roster. But again, losing Jaden Ledee, it's like losing Malachi Flynn. I mean, you lost a player that, you know, is arguably one of the best players in the country. Next question.
Can the Padres win this weekend series at Doyer Stadium?
No, they can never be the Dodgers ever.
Right.
Anytime the Padres play the Dodgers, it's an automatic L.
Mm-hmm.
So they will now lose all 3 games this weekend, and there's no shot. Why even watch the games? Why even have wrap-up shows? Why even have regular shows? It's just no point. Yeah.
I know. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think they can beat the Dodgers again
ever
in our lifetimes.
I don't think they can ever.
I don't know. Of course they can win the series. People are so, and I say people, I'm not saying Padres fans, but I have heard some say, if we could just get one this weekend, it would be huge. No, what would be huge is to win the series. That would be significant. It would have value. But I think we said this yesterday. I know we said in the wrap-up show, you go 3-0 or 0-3, I don't think it defines the season. And I think you go 1-2 or 2-1. I don't think it's season defining either. You just played them a week or two ago in Korea, and you played them well. You won one and you lost one. And truthfully, the one you lost was a very winnable game. It's not impossible to go up there and win a series. A couple of years ago, they were 7-2 against the Dodgers the first 9 games of the regular season. They went 0-9 in their last 9 that year. But it's not like it's impossible to envision a team beating the Dodgers in a series. That's stupidity. Of course, teams are going to beat Dodgers in series this year.
We had a question the other day. Was it on the wrap-up show or was it on Jon and Jim?
I don't know.
Where it was like, would you be satisfied with just one win at Dodger? Would you take one win at Dodger Stadium? Like they lose 2, they win 1. And I said to myself, I think I said out loud too, it's how these games go down.
Mm-hmm.
If they have leads in the first 2 games in like the 8th or 9th inning and they blow it and they lose both those games and then they win on Sunday, you feel lucky that like you feel lucky they won 1 game, but you're also upset about it.
Right.
Now, if you get your ass kicked Friday and Saturday and you win 1 game, then yeah, of course you take it. You take 1 win right now. But I got to see how they play against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, how they look. You're not going to be throwing Cease or Musgrove out there. More importantly, Cease, because Cease has probably been their. I would say he's been there. Has Cease been their best pitcher this year?
I think Darvish, 3 of his 4 starts have been really good. Cease, you could argue his last 2 starts have been great.
Mm-hmm.
His stuff is their best by far.
By far.
So wait, what are you saying?
I'm saying that I don't know. What am I saying?
Yeah, I think what you're saying is it's more about how they play in the series than the results. Or maybe I wasn't listening. Is it more about how they play than the results?
If they win 1 game this weekend, like, never can beat the Dodgers. Another series lost.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is it's like how these games go. If they get their ass kicked the first 2 games and they win 1 game, then you feel like, okay, at least they won 1 game there.
Right, because what is the alternative?
and you feel like, okay, it's fine. But if they have a chance on Friday night or Saturday night to win one of those games or even both those games, and you lose,
Right.
and then you win on Sunday, I think you feel worse.
Honestly,
Or how would you
but-
feel?
well,
Because
that's
it's a weird thing. It's like you get your ass kicked the first two games, but you win Sunday, or you have a chance to win Friday, Saturday, and you lose both those games in like heartbreaking fashion, but then you win on Sunday. Don't you feel like more like, man, we should have won more?
I like our new theory of just score. Let's hypothetically say the Padres score 5 runs in all 3 games, and then
Okay.
let the chips fall. Maybe that means you win 2 or you lose 2, but you scored 5 in all 3 games, as opposed to the alternative 9 runs, 1 run, 1 run. Because if you score 9 runs, 1 run, 1 run, you're not winning more than 1 game. If you score 5 runs in all 3 games, this idea that they need to be consistent on offense. By the way, they've had 4 of their 15 games scoring 9 or more runs. So they've had some really big offensive performances. But if they could just score 4 or 5 runs this weekend at Dodger Stadium in every game, easier said than done, I'll take that. Like if they could score last year when they scored 4 runs, that was their magic number. They had a very good record.
Yeah.
When they didn't, they had a very bad record. Surprised. So score 4 or 5 runs. Obviously, the Dodgers have a good offense, but I think you could win a game or two scoring 4 or 5 runs per game at Dodger Stadium. I don't know what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. Whatever happens this weekend doesn't define the season.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Win it, lose it, sweep it, get swept. Won't define your season, I don't think.
I think overall, at worst, you would like to have a 3-3 road trip.
Yes.
3-3 road trip. Anything better than that is amazing. Right?
Be very good. Yeah.
4-2. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
2 series wins potentially.
Or you win one game and you sweep the other series.
Right.
Be amazing. But I think if you come home next week and this team is 2-4 on the road trip, you're like, it just doesn't feel good. It's not the end of the season.
Right.
It's not the end all be all of your season. It just doesn't feel good because you're trying to get above 500 to start the season and have a good month and get off to a good start. You look up at the end of the first month of the year and you're like 3 or 4 games under 500. It's just not a good feeling.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Now, I will say this more than the record, and the record isn't overly appealing when nobody's, again, jumping up and down at 7 and 8. But I think people should be jumping up and down at, hey, they're scoring runs. Hey, Dylan Cease has been really good. Jerkson Profar has been a pleasant surprise. Jackson Merrill's been terrific over this 15-game stretch. Like, there's way more reasons for optimism today than there would have been 1 year ago today. A year ago, you're just like waiting. Oh, it's going to happen. Trust me. I've seen it happen this year. I've seen the offense. I've seen Cease. I have a little bit of faith that they could put together a decent year. Cautiously optimistic, as I've said. And that's how I feel.
And you have to play more consistent. These big outbursts in runs are awesome. But like if on tomorrow night they score 2 runs, you're just like, okay, here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
And if they score 5 runs, then you feel more confident. And how they're playing right now, and especially their offense, like Jerkson Profar, are you kidding me? It's been amazing. Jake Cronenworth, it's been amazing. Jackson Merrill's been great. Luis Campisano's been great. And those are some big question marks coming in this year. How would those guys perform? Because if those guys don't perform, then it's putting so much emphasis on the superstars to always have to be the superstars. While I still stand true, they have to be good. You have to have a good year for Manny Machado, or else it's going to be pretty tough, I think, to make the postseason. Having performances like you're seeing right now from Jerkson Profar and Jackson Merrill and Luis Campisano and Jake Cronenworth, Crony, like
I love me some Crone Zone.
That's some encouraging stuff right there.
Love some Crone Zone.
Love Crone Zone. Love Pro.
Suarez.
Love Suarez. Love Campy. Love Action Jackson.
He hasn't called him that, right?
No, I'm just using what the Padres Twitter account called him one time.
Okay.
Yeah. Merrill Madness. Hashtag Merrill Madness.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry.
By the way, could the greatest quarterback in NFL history be returning in 2024? Plus, your chance to win Neil Young tickets ahead.
Joe Montana?
Stay with us. It's Jon and Jim. All right, the greatest quarterback of all time. Could he return in 2024? Plus, Neil Young tickets. We've got them for you coming up later this hour. Be listening for your chance to win. Stay with us.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres, they have an off day today before they go on a 6-game road trip starting tomorrow. First up, they take on the Dodgers. Michael King will start tomorrow for the Padres. Moving over to Aztecs basketball news, Michah Parish, he has announced that he is entering the transfer portal. Also, he's declaring for the NBA draft. He's going to keep his college eligibility. Masters update, Bryson DeChambeau currently leads the Masters right now at 7 under par. Scottie Scheffler is at 6 under par. And Tiger Woods, he is currently still 1 under par through 11 holes. And OJ Simpson's dead today at the age of 76. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even the same day. Now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert.
You were listening to the Deep Cut podcast earlier today, but if you missed it, here are the Cliff Notes. We have Neil Young tickets to give away in 15 minutes. They didn't talk about that on the Deep Cut podcast. Oh, they didn't? They didn't. But Tom Brady was on. What? He was finally on Deep Cuts. Wow. I know. We've been listening for all those years. I don't. What is
for him to get on the Deep Cuts podcast?
This? The Deep Cut podcast. This is such a setup, like PR play, isn't it?
Well, yeah, of course.
Deep Cut with Vic Blends.
They have to get him as many media like things before the start of next football season.
Exactly.
That's when he's going to be on the broadcast.
Exactly. Whether he would he pick up the phone if a team called him, Jim, next year in the event of an injury? This is a direct quote. I'm not opposed to it.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to let me if I become an owner of an NFL team. I'm always going to be in good shape. I'll always be able to throw the ball. So to come in for a little bit, like MJ coming back, I don't know if they would let me, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. This is Tom Brady today on Deep Cuts. DC, if you will.
If he's an owner of a team, can't he like not be a broadcaster though?
Well, why? What kind of why? There's no you can broadcast, right? What does broadcasting have to do with owning a team?
I don't know. He's also getting paid $300 million from Fox. You're not going back to the NFL field
to make less money.
To try to win again when you've already accomplished everything, unless you have this like major itch to go do it.
But hear me out. Blends, the host, right?
Oh yeah, Blends
Proposed a scenario where the Niners have an injury at quarterback heading into the playoffs. And then Brady also mentioned the Patriots and Raiders before giving his answer. I don't know what he said, but okay. Let's say the Niners were 13-4 next year, 1 or 2 seed NFC. Okay. Not going to happen off the disappointment of the Super Bowl, but hear me out. So they're having a very good year. They're heading to the postseason, and whatever their quarterback's name is, I forget it already. The young dude that was drafted like 500th.
I'm gonna let you do this.
Iowa State quarterback.
You got to
Vic Blends.
You got to come up with. On your own.
Hold on. Don't tell me. Seriously, don't tell me. I can see him. He just looks like a guy. He's just like some dude that's like 5'10". He doesn't look like he'd be better at football than I am. Brock Heward. No, I forget. What's his name?
Are you serious?
I have no idea the name of the quarterback.
Brock
of the Niners.
Purdy.
Oh, Brock. I got that right. So Brock Purdy, let's say he goes down with a debilitating injury. I mean, it's just bad.
Like, if they amputee his leg,
No, not that bad. But, he's knocked out. Concussion, they say you can't play until next year.
tears both his ACLs.
Something like that.
Okay.
Would you be in favor of the Niners calling Tom Brady at that point? Serious question.
No, I don't.
You'd rather just go with the backup?
Well, I mean, sign Tom Brady. Screw it. They were going to sign Phillip Rivers in 2022 if they made the Super Bowl, or at least they were going to reach out to Phillip Rivers,
Mm-hmm.
and he was.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah, it would have been awesome.
Yeah,
could you imagine
that would
that?
have been crazy.
Because they lost every one of their quarterbacks, and if they made the Super Bowl, if they beat the Eagles, they were going to call Phillip Rivers.
That's crazy.
And see if they're going to.
Maybe they should have called him before the Eagles game.
Yeah, I know, right? But no,
So
John.
who's the backup for the Niners?
I have no clue right now. It was Sam Darnold, but he went to Minnesota. So it's like Brandon Allen, I think his name is.
So my point is, you'd call Brady
Sure, call Brady.
as opposed to playing
But guess
whoever they
what?
played a quarterback 2 years ago.
But guess what? It won't happen. I'll bet you.
But could he end up somewhere? I think the point's
No.
valid. Someone could get hurt.
You know how many teams are going to would call Tom Brady and probably already have called Tom Brady?
But he doesn't want to start a season because he's like, yeah, I'm older, but in a shorter stint.
So I'll just come when the playoffs start.
Yeah, he said he'll always be in shape.
Okay.
That's what he said on Deep Cuts.
It's not happening.
You don't see it.
Do you see it?
No, but he is one of these guys that he like unretired to prove a point, and he played longer than anyone really imagined was possible. Like, if there's anyone, like, I find it more likely that Brady would do it a year or two out than Phillip Rivers. Would you agree with that? Like, once Rivers was out and he's coaching his kids, and he's far away. He left San Diego and he's in Alabama. I didn't see that. I know he'd mentioned it. And I know teams that said maybe they would call, but I just feel like if you would have told me Rivers 2 years out comes back or Brady 2 years out comes back, I probably would say Brady because he's proven people wrong his whole career.
Because he's a psychopath.
Yes, that's a better way to put it.
He's
Yes,
crazy. He's a
That's
crazy
right.
person.
right.
He if he wanted to, he could play. He could probably try and play until he's 60 years old. That's how crazy he is. But there's a time if he didn't have like we talk about it all the time, man. If we didn't have families, like we would just be doing live streams and social media and
Right.
all the time.
Sure. You wouldn't balance anything. You just
No balance.
right. Exactly.
Just head
Just work.
forward, work, stream.
right.
Show,
Show.
social media, graphics, everything, right? But same thing with Brady. If he didn't have a family or kids or anything, now he got divorced, but still, I think he might still be playing. But I think because of the kids and obviously the money from Fox,
Yeah, it's crazy. Money.
that's probably okay, I'm good.
What is interesting to me, and it's hard to turn down $300 million. I understand if they call us and say, "Hey, $300 million, you got to go to Denver," and like, that's a lot of money.
Go to Alaska.
It's a lot of money, but you're also going to change the way people think of you by being on television when 25 million people are watching all these games.
Well, if he's good, that's going to be like a Charles Barkley effect.
True, but Romo started good. People love Tony Romo on television those first couple of years. Now they despise it. It's like a running joke on social media. He's always trending.
I thought Tony Romo did very well in the Super Bowl.
That's great, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know
You've
what you're
seen it on
saying.
social media.
I know what you're saying, but I also think Tony doesn't have any Super Bowls. He doesn't
Yeah,
have the same
that's
career
true.
as Tom. Tom will always be known as the GOAT for his playing career. I don't think anything will hurt him in the booth, make people think differently of him because he's won 7 Super Bowls. Like,
Yeah.
they'll just, if he sucks in the booth, it will just be, he sucks in the booth.
Kind of like, I didn't think Drew Brees was near as bad as the way it was represented.
He was such a stiff, though.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
How long was it? 1 year or more?
It was like a game, it felt like. Maybe.
Really?
Yeah. They do pretty.
Sunday Night Football?
Yeah. They did pretty quickly. It was
like, this ain't going to work.
Brady, I don't think he can hurt his reputation at all. The only thing he can do is heighten it to like a Charles Barkley level. Like, Barkley's the best personality in sports.
Dude, he doesn't remind you anything personality-wise of Barkley.
I'm not
right?
saying
You'll never have that type of effect on people.
I'm not saying that he has the personality of Charles Barkley. I'm just saying, like, people revere Charles Barkley as a sports broadcaster.
More so than as a player, amazingly.
More so as a player. And I think people, if Brady's good, could be like, dude, I love listening to Brady. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Maybe I'll be wrong. I'm going to be surprised if he's good. He's so buttoned up. He's so polished. I hear him with like Jim Gray at halftime, like presented by Macy's. Everything's so polished, which again is, again, Charles Barkley is so unique. It's not just Charles. That whole crew does such a good job playing off of each other.
Off the cuff is what people want to hear.
And I don't know if that's who Tom Brady is. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
It's a lot of money.
Probably right. Tom Brady's going to be a giant stiff.
I don't think he's going to suck. I just don't think he's going to have some type of remarkable, unbelievable broadcast career.
You're probably right.
That's just the way I see it.
But when you give some guy $300 million, you better hope he's good.
True. Can you imagine? Hey, Tom, I want to talk to you about something. We have 300. Here's our idea.
Hey, by the way,
we'll put you in the booth for $300 million. You in?
We think he sucks, so we're gonna take you out of the booth.
Is it guaranteed money?
It's a good question, John. I don't know. I don't keep him Tom Brady's contract.
Well, it doesn't even matter because he's playing for the Niners next fall.
Oh, great, because that Brock Heward guy is gonna be
exactly
dead.
All right, call right now if you want to play trivia. We call it Trainwreck Radio. We have a chance to win 2 free tickets to Neil Young. First 2 callers will be our contestants, and the winner is going to see Neil Young in 2 weeks right here in San Diego with Crazy Horse. Love this giveaway. And this is April 25th, Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater. Here's the number to call if you want 2 free Neil Young tickets. 877-767-4760. Again, 877-767-4760. We have 2 free tickets to see Neil Young and Crazy Horse April 25th, 2 weeks from now at the Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater. Call right now if you want those tickets, if you want to play some trivia. One more time, 877-767-4760. Ryan Harrington, managing editor, Golf Digest. He'll join us at 5:30. Stay with us. All right, you're living an on-the-go lifestyle. You're running from work to home, from appointment to appointment. You're hungry. You're looking to be healthy. I've got a game changer for you. It is Almond RX packs. They are a complete game changer for your diet and your day-to-day snacking. You can eliminate the vending machine from your day, which is going to save you money, and it's going to make you healthier is what it's going to do. Almond RX is an immunity booster. It's got your daily dose of vitamin D. Everyone loves a healthy snack. It's healthy, but it's tasty, and it curbs hunger. It's the first and only skinless almond fortified with vitamin D. It's got your daily serving of 23 almonds, and it's founded by a San Diego sports medicine physician, packed with nutrients and antioxidants, supporting heart health, cellular health, and gut health. You can find Almond RX at any Foodland in San Diego County, Harvest Ranch at Encinitas, or at almondrx.com. That's ALMONDRX.com. If you go there right now, you're getting free shipping on all orders of $25 or more. Again, that's at almondrx.com. Free shipping right now. Get healthier, curb your hunger with Almond RX, perfect for the on-the-go lifestyle. right, Trainwreck Radio in a moment. We'll talk Masters round 1. Augusta, Georgia. Ryan Harrington, Golf Digest, managing editor. 5:30. Tiger on the foul. Like that. What's he done so far?
A big up and down at 12 to save par. He's still currently
Man, you should be broadcasting golf the way you talk. You're like the next Tom Brady.
still 1 under. Still 1 under.
Sounded really good.
You could be the new Jim Nance.
No.
You could.
No. But so far, very good leaderboard. I like it a lot.
You like the leaderboard?
Yeah.
Who's on it?
I like who's at the top. DeChambeau, Live guy, Scotty Scheffler, PGA Tour guy. I like it.
Okay.
You also have Will Zalatoris up there, Patrick Reed, Tiger, Tony Finau, Matt Fitzpatrick, Victor Hovland.
Okay.
And then Xander's even, Justin Thomas is even, Justin Day is even, Phil's +1. Like, it's not this crazy. I mean, DeChambeau 7 under 65 today is pretty impressive because the wind conditions there were insane.
Right.
If a live golfer wins, are people going to throw a fit?
I don't think anymore.
I think so. I think like the diehard, I think like the purest PGA Tour guys will be like butthurt about it. But
Has it happened yet with a major?
Yeah, Brooks Koepka.
Yeah, so I don't think so. Was there outrage?
No, I mean, look,
I thought they merged. What if I thought they merged?
They were
have
going to merge,
not,
but I don't think they did it yet.
If not,
Is there plans in place?
I think
Allegedly.
so.
That's what I thought.
Anyway, I just want to see the best golfers out there, and if DeChambeau wins it, it's fine. I have no problem with it. People are like crying about it, like, oh, this golf is just not the same anymore. It's like you're not watching the freaking Mercury Car Open. Like, give me a break. You care about the majors, and if they're in the majors, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't have a response to that because I don't watch a lot of golf.
I know you don't.
All right, let's get to it.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Tony and we have Mike. Tony, you called in first, so you have your choice of Jon or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
Hey, gentlemen, we're going with Jon.
All right, Tony and Jon.
Jon's the best.
What's that?
I heard Jon's the best.
Yes, that's accurate. Thank you, Tony.
Actually, I can't dispute that. Mike, you have me, okay?
All right, Jim, let's prove them wrong.
Let's do it. I love it, Mike. Brent, what's the question today?
All right, as you're just talking about, the Masters is currently underway. Today's question, can you name the 8 golfers that have won the Masters 3 or more times in their career? So we're looking for the 8 golfers that have won at least 3 or more Masters.
All
okay.
Right. Okay. Mike, you're up first. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
Arnold Palmer.
Okay, Arnold Palmer.
Arnold Palmer.
Arnie. On the list.
I didn't know that.
He's on the list.
Okay.
Yeah. Tony, you're
I
up
like his
next.
drink.
Tony, you're up
We'll
next.
go to San Diego boy, Phil Mickelson.
Okay,
Lefty.
Phil Mickelson. On the
Wow.
list. All right. Mike, you're up next. What's your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
I'll do the lifeline.
Tiger Woods. Do you take it?
Then let's go with that.
Tiger Woods.
I don't know. Oh, he's on there. How many does he want?
You think he's won 5? He's won. I think
won a lot?
He's won a lot. He's won a lot.
5.
Okay.
Tony, you're up next. What's your second guess? You do have a lifeline, which is Jon, if you want to use it, and he's already sweating.
I'm
over
already
here.
sweating.
No, we're good. We're going to go with Nicky Faldo.
Nick Faldo. Nicky Faldo.
I like it.
We got a golf fan on our hands here.
Yep.
Mike,
Is this Shilty?
Yeah.
Mike, you're up next. What's your final guess? You do not have a lifeline, so it's all up to you.
Jack Nicklaus.
Jack Nicklaus. Very good guess on the list.
Wow.
Tony, you're up next. Your final guess. Jon just looked at me like, oh crap, you just took my lifeline.
He's gonna know.
So
No, we're good, boys. We're going to go with Samuel James Snead.
all right.
Sam Snead.
Sammy Snead, baby.
Wow.
That was a
How about
clean
that?
sweep. We got some golf fans on our hands.
We
baby.
do.
Brent, so now we're going to overtime. Give us the rules of overtime and the question.
How overtime works is I'm going to ask you guys a question. When I am done asking the question, you're going to yell out the name of your partner today. So you're going to yell out either John or Jim. Don't yell out the answer. Whoever yells out the name of their partner first, you're going to win the game by getting the question wrong, or you're going to lose by getting the question. Never mind. You're going to win the game by getting the question right, or you're going to lose the game by getting the question wrong. Do you guys got it?
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. Today's question: who is currently leading the Masters?
John.
I heard John.
Tony,
Tony, what do you
what
got?
do you got?
We're going to go with Bryce
Bryce what?
Bryce who?
DeChambeau.
All right, that is
DeChambeau,
correct for
there
the
we
win.
go.
Well done. We got a golf fan. And
All right.
Tony, Bryson DeChambeau, as Jim has said repeatedly, is leading. Shot a 65 day one in Augusta. But golfers are on the course. But right now he's leading with a 65.
Yes, I don't think anybody else right
Is
now
in contention for
is
that.
going to
Yeah.
match that.
Okay.
Because, 65, very good.
That's a good start. All right. Who was on this? Did we miss anyone? One or two golfers?
2.
Want to take a guess? Jim? Lee Trevino.
No, you're not going to get any of them. I've only heard of one of them. It's Jimmy Demerit.
Jimmy Demerit.
He played in the 40s and 50s, and then Gary Player. I've heard.
Oh, yeah,
Gary Player,
okay.
Gary Player.
All right. And you said Tiger won it 5 times?
Correct.
Yeah, Nicholas won at 6.
Wow. Maybe Tiger wins his 6th this weekend, Jim.
Maybe.
It's possible. Tony, congratulations. You have won tickets to see a really good show coming up April 25th at the Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater. You're going to go see Neil Young and Crazy Horse. 2 free tickets. Tickets are available right now at Ticketmaster.com. That's where you can find tickets and information. If you didn't win today, one more chance this week to win tickets to see Neil Young and Crazy Horse at the Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater. We'll give those away tomorrow afternoon. On the other side, Ryan Harrington will join us at 5:30 from Golf Digest as we will recap round 1 from Augusta and look ahead to this weekend as well. Plus, we're getting you ready for Padres Dodgers round 2, so to speak. They've already met in Korea. Plus, Michah Parish for San Diego State is in the transfer portal. We caught up with Brian Dutcher in studio earlier today. A lot to get to. We'll kick off hour 3 of Jon and Jim next.
All right, this update's brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres, they have an off day today. They'll take on the Dodgers tomorrow night for a 3-game series in LA. It also starts their 6-game road trip. Well, they'll travel to LA and Milwaukee. Michael King on the mound for the Padres tomorrow night. Aztecs news of the day: Michah Parish has officially entered the transfer portal, also declaring for the NBA draft while maintaining his college eligibility. The Masters is going on right now from Augusta. Scheffler is at 6 under par, and Tiger Woods is 1 under through 13. OJ Simpson's dead, John. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert.
San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is the final hour of Jon and Jim. Ryan Harrington from Golf Digest, managing editor, will join us to recap round 1 of Augusta, which will not end today because they've already called play for the day.
Well, because they had a delay today for weather.
Right. But my point is, Tiger Woods is going to be through 13 for a long time because he's not going to play the 14th until tomorrow.
And it doesn't help Tiger because you're going to have to play
23 holes.
23 holes tomorrow.
That's easy. He's not playing tackle football.
No, but the way he was moving today on the course kind of signaled to me that he was making a very conscious effort in every step he took to make sure he did not exude any more energy than he needed to. That's how I viewed it.
Yeah. All right. Ryan Harrington will join us at 5:30. Tiger is 1 under par. He's 6 strokes off the lead of Bryson DeChambeau. By the way, Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network, we're less than 2 weeks out from the NFL draft. She will join us tomorrow at 4 p.m.
The draft is 2 weeks away.
2 weeks from right now. Thursday night, first round coverage.
Talk about things that
sneaking up on you.
Not only sneak up on you, but in this town with sports, it's like, wait, the draft's happening?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, awesome.
No, see, I don't buy that.
Why?
Because I think people in San Diego are absolutely into the draft.
No, I think people are into the draft. I don't think people are sitting around counting down the days till the draft.
Maybe not. They might not be. That's possible.
I think the draft is definitely massive, but I just don't think people care about talking about storylines leading up to the draft until the draft actually happens.
Okay. Well, then make sure to tune in tomorrow at 4. You heard Jim with selling Cynthia Freeland NFL Network.
That's all what I'm saying. I'm saying
what are you saying?
Stop. They have to make sure I need to consume all this content as possible. To talk about it is great, but to make it
this year's different because
we know who's number 1 pick is.
Yeah, and we know the Bears aren't going to trade it because they already traded Fields.
Correct.
So a lot of the drama is already taken out of it, so they can't sit there and who's going to go number 1?
Right.
We already know.
I like the first round on that Thursday night is made for television. They sit in that 4-hour window now. It's kind of easy to consume. You get into the second and third day. I'm with you. I mean, if you're not a New York Jets fan, maybe you don't care who the Jets take in the 5th round and so on and so forth.
Second and third day now, it goes by so fast to where, if you're like, oh, look, they drafted that, Aztec defensive end. they won't even talk about him because they get so buried and behind in picks to where,
True.
6 picks will go by and they'll talk about 2 of them and then go to commercial break and just ignore the rest.
Cynthia Freeland tomorrow at 4 p.m. if you have interest. Michah Parish is in the portal for San Diego State. Again, I don't think this is overly surprising if you have followed either the portal or, players that have one additional year of eligibility. We had Brian Dutcher in studio. If you missed the conversation earlier, he joined us at 3 p.m. and Micah made that announcement somewhere in that 3 o'clock hour. You can find it at sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app. Michah Parish in the portal, Cade Alger in the portal. Aztecs have a couple of open scholarships. We're waiting on Reese Waters to officially make a decision. Dutch seemed to indicate that if he doesn't pursue professional opportunities, he could very well be back. And then there's Lamont, same thing. I mean, if he doesn't end up going down the NBA route right now, it sounds as if Lamont could be back for 2024-25 as well.
Feels like this team will look a lot different next year. Just like you're losing Jaden, you're losing J Powell, you're losing Darion. You potentially could lose Michah Parish.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially could lose Lamont Butler. I think it's more realistic to say that this team may lose Michah Parish because of the events that happened today. And then you're going to see a lot of new people, a lot of new players come in to the portal. Players they have on this team that you haven't really seen yet. So yeah, next year's team is going to look different, man. It just is. And you trust Dutch to put together a team that can go out there and compete for a Mountain Conference every year. You have that trust. If it doesn't happen, it does not mean the sky's falling. It doesn't mean that everything he doesn't know what he's doing. Things take time. I know everyone wants to have it right away and have these guys be replaced and the players that come in. He's whoever comes in next year, I guess, take over the D role. This guy better be a 20 and 10 guy. Well, maybe it doesn't happen.
Yeah, because it's hard to be a 20 and 10 guy. I mean, listen, not everyone. I think San Diego State's done an amazing job of replacing pieces and staying up to their standard. And then you look at a UConn, they had 3 of their top 6 scorers from last year's national championship team leave, maybe 5 of their top 8 players in the rotation leave, and they win the national championship again. Not everyone can do that, but it is possible. It proves the point that just because you're losing an All-American doesn't mean you can't be really good again. I mean, I think when they lost Malachi Flynn, KJ Fag, and Yanni Wetzel, there was concern, can San Diego State replicate that level of success? The answer has been yes over the last 4 or 5 years. So there's that. Again, Ryan Harrington will join us at 5:30. Then there's the Padres. They won yesterday, winning their first series of the year, beating the Cubs 10-2. So they are 7-8 on the season. They will open a 3-game series at Dodger Stadium tomorrow night with everything on the line, except that's not really the case. We might act as if that's the case. If they win the game, it's the greatest win of the year. If they lose the game, oh my gosh, here we go again. It is a 3-game series against the Dodgers. It just feels a little bit different for me in the 2020s with all these teams that make the postseason. You don't see these teams as much anymore. But this is the first true series of the year between the Dodgers and the Padres, in America at least. It'll kick off tomorrow night.
Does every win versus the Dodgers nowadays just feel different?
I don't know. I don't think it felt that different when they beat him in Korea.
I think it did.
Really? In what manner?
I think
it was more special.
No, I just think that most people's expectations are oh, it's the Dodgers. Everyone just has seen this Padres team lose to the Dodgers so much.
Right. That anytime you beat him, you're saying it's a pleasant surprise.
Kind of. You're oh, all right, let's go.
Yeah, I can see that.
Even though I don't think the players think that.
No, I don't either.
I don't think, Schulte thinks that.
Right.
They're a really good team, but they're not this unbeatable force. And this weekend, obviously the dream scenario, somehow you sweep the Dodgers in LA. That'd be great. But if you get out of there with a series win, you take that in a second.
Of course.
And I think even one win, depending on how the games go, ask me after the series if they only get one win, how I feel. But if they get one win, you're still looking at it as okay, it's not the end of the world.
No.
It sucks. You don't like it. You hate it because you're sick and tired of always losing to the Dodgers. But this is the long game for this team this year, and you're not competing with the Dodgers. You're just not.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with that. I mean, you hate to just punt on it.
You hate
on
to do
April
it.
11th. They're 10-5. You know, it's been a good start, not a legendary start.
But what did you say the other night or the other day? You said, all right, do you think the Dodgers are going to lose less than 95 games?
Which would be their most losses in over a decade, if that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no, I think they'll win 95 games. I said 94. I said who wouldn't be shocked if the Dodgers won fewer than 94 games?
I'd be shocked.
Okay. And then who would be shocked if the Padres won more than 94 games?
Everybody.
Therefore, under that assumption,
Mm-hmm.
which again, it's dangerous in sports, under that assumption, it's going to be hard for the Padres to potentially win the division. I would say this, though. There's multiple ways to spin this. I don't think you head into the series with this idea as a fan. If we just get one, awesome.
Yeah, no.
I don't love that. If it plays out, it plays out. If you win one, you win one. But I don't like this idea that, man, if we can do anything other than getting swept, that's awesome. Like you said, I don't think that's the way the team treats it. I don't think Mike Shildt goes into this like, hey, guys, just scratch and claw, maybe you can win one. I don't think that's how they're treating it at all.
Shilty does not think like that.
No, Shilty's not thinking like that.
Like, we're gonna go out there, we're gonna play our best baseball, we're gonna go out there and see what happens.
Is that your Shilty?
It's not my Shilty. I can't.
I don't even know how you can try it.
Right.
Try it. Okay.
Yeah, no, just like Pro Farb was out there today, and he was great. And Toddy just made that great throw in right field, and what Campy's doing behind the plate.
He's a pros pro.
He's pros pro. I love
a pitcher's pitcher.
I love the fight in this team. I loved how we battled every day, and we're not giving up at bats. We're hold on.
Swari,
Give Crone's Zone some love right now.
Yeah, Nicky and Swari.
Give Crone's Zone some love right now.
It's not bad, dude.
He has very wet lips. That makes any sense.
A little bit, it does.
Because when you listen to him, there's a lot of
no, you're right.
There's a lot of wet lips in there. I don't, and it just at times you're like, oh, I can't listen anymore.
Right,
but that's how that's my best Shelty.
It wasn't great.
It needs a lot of improvement, but
All right, James in the chat says 3 games back, a sweep puts us in first place. I'm not worried about. What is that? Oh, maybe OJ related.
Who?
I don't know what that actually was. But James says they're 3 games out. They're a sweep away from first place. Sweep's great. I'm not worried about the standings. Sweep's awesome. I'm not going to come on the air on Monday and be like, they're in first place. Let's just hold on in the stand. No, sweep would be the lead for me. They swept the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. What does that mean? Is it a sign of things to come? But I don't think I would say on Monday they're in first place. They just swept the LA Dodgers.
It would be something that Padres fans, if they happen to sweep the Dodgers this weekend, absolutely be excited about that.
No. You sure?
But it's not the end-all, be-all to the season if they sweep them. The Padres. Look what happened in 2021.
Right.
The Padres were on a roll. It took it serious from the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. Had that great comeback on Sunday Night Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It was epic. Tatis had like 3 home runs in that series. He did the Trevor Bauer, you can't see me or whatever. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And it was like, what is happening right now? Then we saw what actually happened the rest of that year. And the Dodgers said, yeah, you're not winning any more games versus us.
By the way, Kevin Acee will join us tomorrow from Dodger Stadium, kicking off that 3-game series. He has published a lengthy article today at the Union Tribune that is headlined with this header: Padres believe the beginning to their season will lead to a better ending. So we've heard a lot of this, really from the start of spring training, this idea that what they do early, they don't want to repeat what they did a year ago early. Now, the truth is, they've got like an identical record, but I do believe, and I haven't fully read this piece because we're on the air and it just got published, but I do believe there are indicators early that are much more encouraging than what we were seeing early a year ago. I don't know if that continues for the next 140 something games, but again, the better offensive production is really encouraging. We saw nothing like this for weeks on end to start last year.
And it starts with it starts with the others on this team. Jackson Merrill,
The non-stars, you're saying?
yes, Jurickson Profar, Campy, Crony, Cronzo. They have been fantastic. They've been fantastic.
Mhm.
Imagine what this team would be like right now if Manny Machado started out hot.
Right.
You know?
Another win or two.
Probably. And then now you're really talking here. The only question is, these guys, how long is it gonna last? Because while I love the production of Profar to start the season, while I love the production of Jake Cronworth, while I love the production of Campy Sano and Jackson Merrill, they've all been fantastic. The question is, how long do you keep it up?
So, of course, the sustainability. That it's almost hard to envision because we've seen this over the course of the baseball season. Guys have good 2 weeks, but they don't have a good 6 months. You can have a 1,000 OPS in April. That doesn't mean you'll have a 1,000 OPS for the year.
Like, trust me, I would love if Jurickson Profar had a 1,000 OPS for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically,
It may not happen.
probably not going to happen.
But even if it's like an 800 OPS,
Oh.
like, wow, they got really good productivity from him.
You tell me that Jurickson Profar has 487 at bats this year and he has an 830 OPS. I would just throw my hands up and be like, one of the best signs days of AJ Preller's career.
1 year, 1 mil?
1 year, 1 million. Almost 500 at bats, maybe more than 500 at bats. And he gave you a 820 OPS.
Right.
Like, oh, are you kidding me? And gave you like legit production from wherever he's hitting the lineup. I know he's hitting 5th yesterday.
Yeah.
And same thing with Jackson Merrill. Jackson Merrill, you're not asking Jackson Merrill to be like Ken Griffey Jr. in center field as far as production wise goes.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking Action Jackson to just do what he's being asked to do, which is get on base, put together good at bats, play good defense in center field. And when he gets on base, take the extra base, use your speed. And that's exactly what he's doing right now.
Kevin A.C. in this article, it's difficult to find a Padres player who knows the team's record. This proves my point about standings. No idea, Manny Machado said. What is it, Xander Bogart said.
That's funny.
Machado, do I care right now? No. I think we're playing good baseball. And that's all we can show at the end of the day. I kind of agree with them.
You only care if they're playing really bad baseball.
Right, exactly.
If they're playing really bad baseball, then and we would talk about it, you're 2-11. Like, I agree with that sense is
right. Nobody's saying it's great, but they're saying we're doing good things that ultimately will produce wins. That's what they're saying. They're saying we can't get caught up in any 15-game stretch, but we can get caught up in playing well.
What's the saying? You can't win it. You
can't win the pennant in April, but you sure can lose it. I think I don't know if you can even lose it anymore in April with all the teams that make the playoffs. Maybe if you were like 4-26.
Yeah, I mean, you have to start out really bad.
Yeah,
like really, really bad.
Right.
And even then, like 83 wins gets you in, 84 wins gets you in.
I do think it's funny that, like they're saying like we're not looking at the standings, guys. We're not looking every day at the newspaper to see where we stack up wins and losses. They know they've been fine.
Yeah,
not special, not terrible. Good enough.
I'm the same way right now. I honestly, and I think I said this the other day. Honestly, besides the Padres record, I don't know any other team's record right now. I mean, I a couple I know, but I thought the Diamondbacks were better. And all of a sudden I see yesterday they're kind of around where the Padres are. They're below the Padres. I'm like, wait, what? The Giants. I'm like, I thought they were better. Nope, they're not. I don't know any records in the NL Central. I don't know any records right now. You could ask me what the Braves record is, and I would.
What's the Braves record?
I have no idea. 9-6.
No, you're wrong.
What is it?
7-4.
I have no idea.
Okay, are the Reds ahead of the Cubs or the Cubs ahead of the Reds in the NL Central?
The Reds are ahead of the Cubs.
Wrong. Are the Red Sox ahead of the Rays or the Rays ahead of the Red Sox?
Red Sox are ahead of the Rays.
Correct by half game. Are the
These are
Tigers
all guesses, by the way.
Tigers ahead of the Royals or the Royals ahead of the Tigers?
Only because I saw a graphic. I'm going to say I think the Royals are really good.
They are.
Yeah, see, I'm guessing on most of these here.
And are the Astros ahead of the Mariners or the Mariners ahead of the Astros?
Astros are ahead of the Mariners.
No, they're 4-10. They're terrible.
They suck
Somehow.
Yeah, Astros are bad this year.
But again, it's early.
but you get the point. Is
We only care about the Padres.
well, one, yes, we only care about the Padres right now. But a record, unless you're like 2-15,
Yeah, the Marlins type record or
Yeah.
15-2.
correct.
Everyone would be talking about that.
It's not the end all be all.
Right.
Now you do look at individual games as like Sunday. You go, man,
That was disappointing.
yeah, hope that doesn't bite you in the ass at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about it and everything, but is it going to break your season? No,
Right.
it's not.
I don't think so either. I agree. So, yeah, I think all things considered, and those of you that have listened to us over the years know that we can take on a fairly critical tone if there's a reason to do it. I don't think we've done it one time this year with this team based on the way we can critique. We've been critical at times, but nothing over the top. We're still feeling out the season, truthfully. Like, I'm kind of tiptoeing into the season. I don't have a great feel for if they win 87 games or if they win 77 games. I just don't. I mean, I think the indicators are they're more likely to win 87 than 77, but I can't definitively say based on now 2+ weeks of baseball, they're an 87 win team, not a 77 win team. So I'm kind of like tiptoeing into it. I need more. I need to see more.
I'm still at the 86 mark.
86
And I think that's still, I think, maybe high.
could be.
It
That's 10
could
games
be-
over at the end of the
could be
year.
high. But yeah, nothing has shown me. The only way my feelings would change on things if they're, knock on wood,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry that I'm going to say this, if there was like
Injuries.
a major injury.
Oh yeah,
Like
and
if
everyone feels that.
you
way.
lost a starting pitcher, if you lost like a star player in the middle
Mhm.
of your lineup, then your opinions change. And that's how things go. You react in real time to what's happening. You react to each game. But the overall general sense of this team right now is, I think, you want them to be more consistent on offense, even though their offensive numbers have been overall
Their
like
offense is like great.
really good,
Yeah.
really good numbers if you just look at the
Yeah.
the stats. But I also have watched every game, watched every at bat, and there's been a lot of games where you're kind of sitting there like, what the hell? And it feels like you're watching last year's team a little bit. In some games, a little bit.
Maybe in some games
In
because
some-
there's 162 games.
That's what I said. Yeah, in some games.
Well, of course, in some games
some
they're going to look
games.
like last year because they play 162
Yeah.
times. They're not always going to look good.
And when you have a weak stretch where you go 2 runs, 2 runs, 3 runs, 2 runs, and then you bust out for 9 runs and then 1 run and
I'll
then
take
10
this.
runs.
I'll take this offense all year and
Yeah.
live with it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm just saying, like I like our argument: 3 straight games of 5 runs or more, or
Or 9, then math would say take 5 runs every game. It's not going to happen that way though.
I know.
Ryan Harrington, managing editor, Golf Digest, on day 1 at Augusta. We look ahead to Friday as well. Tiger Woods under par in his first round. Ryan Harrington will join us next. All right, imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt free with no credit cards, no car loan, no personal loan. Hey guys, it's Schaefer. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly with Loan Pronto's AI-based system. And you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home, and you can use that money to pay off all your other loans. In fact, the average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Imagine those savings. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands of dollars are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now. Here's the number: 619-207-4336. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Equal housing lender.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres, they have an off day today before they start a 3-game series and a 6-game road trip tomorrow in LA versus the Dodgers. Michael King on the mound for the Padres. Moving over to Aztecs basketball news, Michah Parish announced today on his Instagram page that he is declaring for the NBA draft and also entering the transfer portal while maintaining his college eligibility. And this Masters update brought to you by the Golf Mart. Bryson DeChambeau leading the tournament at 7 under par, followed by Scottie Scheffler at 6 under par. And OJ Simpson is dead at the age of 76. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward, like banners, flyers, signs, and catalogs, some even same day. And now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Offer ends 6/1. Visit staples.com/print for details. Staples, your local print and marketing expert.
All right, Jim just told you about day one at Augusta. Not complete, but finished because of darkness for now. They got underway late because of rain. Ryan Harrington, managing editor, Golf Digest, with us right now. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Ryan, we appreciate your time. I'm curious how the weather has impacted things because, again, the late start, but some of the early golfers, did they get to take advantage of the conditions after the weather kind of impacted the greens positively for some of the first golfers out there today?
Yeah, I think so, a little bit. I think it was a little softer, obviously, after for the early groups there, and the wind kind of picked up in the afternoon for the later groups, so they kind of got the short end of the stick from that standpoint. But I think overall, actually, the course really handled the rain pretty well. It wasn't too bad overnight, and so it was a little slower and a little softer than it would have been earlier in the week. But so far, I don't think there's a lot of pain for the course right now.
Tiger Woods is not, the number one ranked golfer in the world. Scottie Scheffler, he had a great day, but Tiger Woods is still a massive draw. And I think everyone wants to, watch this Masters, not just because of everybody else there, but Tiger Woods is drawing the casual fan in. How did he play this year? Or, excuse me, how did he play today? Excuse me.
He was really steady today. He's 1 under par, tied for 17th right now. He only got through 13 holes. He was definitely impacted, obviously, because of the delay and wasn't going to be able to get his round finished. But he actually looked really pretty steady out there. It didn't seem, to be. He walked, he was walking fine. His swing looked pretty good. He got up and down the par a few different holes and was really able to work his way around there pretty good. So better than I expected. Tomorrow will be the real test. He's going to have to play 22 holes tomorrow, and given obviously the physical limitations that he's had over the course of the last couple of years, how he gets through that and how he solves the big question. But right now, it looks better than I thought.
Ryan Harrington, Golf Digest, with us right now, Jon and Jim. I feel like a year ago, maybe it was more of a subplot, the fact that you had maybe a dozen and a half or so golfers that were participating in the Live Tour, playing in the Masters. This year, I think that number's down to like 12 or 13 golfers, but you do have defending champion Jon Rahm among that group. Is this a significant storyline, the fact that you have live golfers participating with PGA golfers, or are we past that point?
I think we're kind of past that point, and I think, quite honestly, a lot of people are really excited to see them all together and to see what really that means. Right now, I think a lot of people are frustrated with the fact that these guys are only getting together at the 4 major championships, and so you're not getting the best golf that you can see as a fan until you get to these events. So there's an excitement level actually to have them mixed together here, and Bryson DeChambeau obviously on the leaderboard leading it, a bundle of guys who, in all honesty, I think a lot of people forget about these guys. They're just, they're not watching quite as much as the PGA Tour is and whatnot, and lo and behold, seeing him up there at 65, I think there isn't the tension that there was last year for sure. There's definitely more of a vibe with this whole thing, and I don't think it'll stand out as much this year if a live guy wins or plays well.
Scottie Scheffler right now 6 under par, shot 66 today. He's in second place behind Bryson. But Scottie's just had an amazing season so far, even though it's early on. I mean, he's playing the best golf of his career, it seems like right now. Would it be an upset if he doesn't get at least one major this year?
I think so, yeah. His ball striking is, so level of anybody on the tour right now, and it hasn't been. We haven't seen anybody play it this well since Tiger Woods and the AJ. I mean, the numbers are incredible. So if he just has that win rate with his putter, he's always going to be in contention. Sure enough, that's what happened today. 66 out there, and he didn't even make it look very hard. And I think you'll definitely see him throughout the week, and it's very likely going to be the winner. Sunday, and if he doesn't win this week, he do that. And sometime this year, the only thing that's going to do that is he and his wife are expecting a baby this month, so that might need a little less sleep for him, and it might be good for the rest of the guys. But right now, it's so solid.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Ryan Harrington, Golf Digest, he was quoted earlier this week as saying if his wife goes into labor this weekend, he will withdraw, but he is 600. I mean, what would play out there? I mean, I guess it's something they're not anticipating, but you can't really predict some of these things, as we all know, if we've had a child before. I mean, if he's leading and it's Saturday or Sunday, he would withdraw. We hold him to his word there, I guess. That's how it would play out.
I would think he would. I really do. I mean, we should not do it for a few weeks. Yep. I think it's a little bit of long time.
Yep.
That one would be a different one. But I think it would. I mean, I think it's that big a deal. The rest of his first child. I think they'll do whatever she can. Meredith do in her power. I'm sure will be the case. But it would be an interesting costume. We all remember the story of and then the 1999 US Open where he had the beeper on and he even went to labor and of course the day after losing to Dan Stewart, she did give birth. So who knows what'll happen? But that would be a pretty interesting side story if that was.
Rory McIlroy, he's 1 under par right now. Every time you get to a Masters, it's like, can Rory do it? Can Rory win a Masters? I mean, it's going to be tough with, right now he's 7 under at the top of the leaderboard. But how has he played today? And do you think that he can make a push here this weekend?
He was a little unsteady. He bogeyed the second hole, the par 5, and the hole out there. He bogeyed the 17th hole. He wasn't a steady one on the par, and I think he was hoping for a little bit more out of this first round here. He's probably got more pressure than any of the big names because of obviously what he's going for the Grand Slam and the expectations that people have for him here at the City. So I think he would have probably liked to have gotten off to a little bit of a low start here, but he's still good position. He's tied for 17th. He's through his round, so he can sleep in tomorrow and get ready for round 2 and not have to restart like some of the guys out here. And so, he's like a little bit lower. Yeah, but he has to shut himself out of it.
Ryan, how would you consider this year for Justin Thomas, who had a bit of a down year in 2023? I know he's even par here today at Augusta. How do you look at 2024 for Justin Thomas on the tour?
Yeah, no, I think it's been continue to be a little bit of a disappointment, honestly. I think it's surprised for everyone with the fact that he's decided to split up as a caddy and player here. That right before the Masters seemed to be a little bit of an odd situation. You wouldn't think going into one of the biggest tournaments of the year you would want to make a change like that. So I don't know if that speaks to some unsettledness of the team or whatnot, but Justin has not played up to the level that he expected him over the course of the last couple of years. So even here, not the start I think he probably wanted, but at the same time, not far out. I think some things going, but it's been a down year.
Ryan, we appreciate it. We're looking forward to hopefully some very good weather. I believe it's supposed to be in Augusta over the course of the next 3 or 4 days. Round 1 underway. It'll be completed tomorrow morning. We appreciate you taking some time for us here in San Diego. Thank you, Ryan.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Take care now.
All right, Ryan Harrington, managing editor, Golf Digest.
I love the Masters, man.
You do, don't you?
I had it on this morning and I just kept it on. It was like, it's like background for me, but it also like I make sure to stop what I'm doing to see certain shots.
Now, how were you watching it today? Because honestly, it was the ESPN Plus had some groups. How else was it on? Was it because it was on television, but only for a portion of the day, right?
Yeah, as they do the first 2 rounds.
It's kind of weird.
It is kind of weird.
But there's ESPN Plus groups.
It's like a Masters Augusta thing. They don't have every single.
Isn't that weird?
It's weird. It's weird. I don't like it. Yeah, because they. Like the rights, for some reason, they can only show a certain amount of holes. They can't show everything for the first couple rounds,
right?
And then once you get to the weekend and after the cut,
you're gonna get more of it.
You get everything. But
so were you watching ESPN Plus?
I just had it on YouTube TV and whatever it showed up, I put it on there.
All right,
so
that's
what I did. And there's also like a Masters app that you could have, and you can do stuff. And you can watch it that way. Like if you want to watch certain holes be played,
right?
Watch that. Of course,
it looks amazing. And again, I think it's supposed to be nice this weekend, which is just amazing. And if Woods can play 22 holes tomorrow and make a cut, that brings additional eyeballs, like you said.
I don't,
television set.
and I don't know if I don't think he spoke. To the person who can't,
Oh, he's still in his
you're
round.
still
Yeah.
in your round. I would wonder if he is looking at this as like a good thing or a bad, that he has to play 22 holes tomorrow. Like, oh, I was only able to play 13 today. So that means I can rest more.
Right. Maybe feel better right now.
But then tomorrow's gonna be a lot. And if I make the cut, then going into the weekend, I just played 22 holes today.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out.
It's not just Tiger that is still on the
Right, a lot of golfers here.
You have let's see here, Nikolai Hogard.
Oh, Nikolai Hogarth's still out there.
Who is on the 15th. He's 5 under right now. You also have
Max Homa,
Tyrell Hatton, who is 3 under. He's on 14. Max Homa, Patrick Reed. Tommy
yeah, but these
Fleetwood.
other guys haven't had a career of injuries.
That is
To the best of my knowledge, you know what I mean?
For me, I'd be like, I'm gonna play
Yeah.
22 holes in a day at Augusta.
If you're 29 and in the best shape of your life, a professional golfer, but that's not who Tiger Woods is. Currently. That's true. All right, on the other side, we'll get to Jim's back page. That's next. All right, Jim's back page. That comes your way next. Kevin AC will join us tomorrow from Dodger Stadium. Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network. Good show lined up for tomorrow, 3 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Padres Dodgers. Music cut off. Padres Dodgers. It's going to be tomorrow.
Yes.
And Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
Games 3, 4, and 5 of the year. When did the Dodgers come to Petco Park?
Great question. I don't know.
This year. They'll be here.
Yes, Sean.
Right? Ohtani?
They'll be here in San Diego at some point.
Ohtani will be here. Assuming that
It's a bet.
yeah, it's a bet.
Yeah, I'll bet you.
Dodgers are here May 10th. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They'll be here. Then they'll be here one other time, probably.
Well, okay.
I just wanted to let you know.
At least the Dodgers aren't here during my wedding weekend, like the Yankees. Oh wait.
True. You guys are still getting married?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still getting married.
Juan Soto will be here then. For your wedding?
Man, I picked a great weekend.
Oh, perfect weekend to get married.
We picked the weekend before the schedule came out.
Yeah, but you knew that they'd be playing games in the summer.
So
I'm kidding.
I was hoping they'd play like the give me a crappy team. Like the Rockies that weekend or something. They've never played the Rockies on a weekend though here in San Diego.
They don't play the
They
Rockies?
usually play I feel like
What
they
are
play
you talking
I
about?
feel like they play the Rockies during like the week a lot.
That's among the dumber things you've said, and this includes someone that thought the Utah Jazz were named after the Jazz community of Salt Lake City.
Okay. When do they play the Rockies this year?
Like all teams, it's based on scheduling. It's not like they just play the Rockies during the week.
No, I'm just never mind.
Let's get to this.
I want to look this up now. If my phone would work. You know what? I am gonna break my phone. I'm gonna break this stupid piece of okay. Here we go.
What's
So,
wrong with your phone?
It's not working.
Oh, I just gave you my charger for the last hour. You should be having the best
the
phone.
app's not opening up. That's the problem.
What's the app?
The MLB.com app. I was trying to look at the Padres freaking schedule. Anyway,
What are you looking for, though?
when do they play the Rockies?
Who cares?
I care.
Honestly.
I care.
Okay. You do this. I'm reading about Mountain West basketball. No, I'm kidding. Let's hear it. What do you got?
So yesterday at the Masters, someone got their Masters pass signed by Tiger Woods. It is already
May
up.
13th.
Thank you. What day of the week is that?
I don't know. May 13th.
It's during the week. It is because the Dodgers are here the weekend.
So my point is valid.
For one series, one time.
Anyway, this Masters pass that was signed by Tiger Woods yesterday is already up for sale at golfauction.com.
What's a Masters pass? You're saying a ticket? Something on a lanyard?
To get tickets to the Masters, it's very difficult.
Right. Okay. So is it a week-long pass?
It's a day pass.
Okay.
So you get like a pass for each day.
Okay.
Or you can buy it. It's like a Comic-Con basically. Once you get selected to buy a pass, you get the option. Do you want to buy a pass for the whole week? Thursday? Like it's yeah.
Comic-Con's not a major though, right? Anymore?
So this pass is for Tuesday, April 9th, 2024, which was already a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And it is currently on an auction. The current bid right now with 4 days remaining is $1,531.
$1,500 just for his autograph from a Tuesday pass. So
At this
that's
year's Masters.
that's pretty crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah, that is. And it could go for more than that. So a couple grand to get his autograph, basically.
I don't know if I'd want to do that, dude.
What, give it up?
I would keep it.
Would you?
Yeah.
I'm not really into autographs. Honestly,
I'm
I
not
would sell
into
it. I would sell it.
Now, granted, this pass that is going to be sold might recoup a bunch of money that he used or this person used on, getting to the Masters and everything like that.
Yeah,
So,
true.
I mean,
I'm not as much of a keepsake with something like that.
I would
one
be.
autograph.
I would be. I think that'd be pretty cool.
It is. It's
I'd
cool.
rather have a photo than an autograph.
Yeah, photos. I feel like in today's day and age, and also a couple $1,000s is a lot of money.
Speaking of the Masters, the Masters shop is the most sought after place in all of golf to go to if you're just like a fan.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And to get memorabilia and to get because they only sell things here at Augusta, only at Augusta.
Not online.
They don't make it available online.
See, I didn't know that.
They don't have it like a masters.com shop.
I didn't know that.
There's certain things that you can only buy at Augusta.
Interesting.
And what people do is they buy a boatload of stuff,
upsell it,
and then they
Yeah.
upsell it on third-party websites.
Okay.
So listen to these numbers. The Masters shop is expected to do around $70 million in merchandise sales this week.
At the location at Augusta?
Yes.
How?
That's $10 million
Is
per
a day?
$1,000 per hour, $16,000 per minute, and $277 per second that store is open.
My guess is they're probably charging $75 for
yeah.
a cap.
Yes. Absolutely.
Hey, you want some Masters golf tees?
I'm sure
Actually-
it's not cheap, right?
No, it's not crazy prices.
I thought that was the food that was low price. The merchandise is low price?
That's how it makes up. They can afford to have 10-cent hot dogs by
Well, it's what people do.
overcharging.
Right.
They buy like if there's like a rack of hats, they
They
buy
them
all the hats.
That's crazy.
and then they sell them all online for like $150.
That doesn't feel like it's fair.
You'd think they'd put like a limit on it or something to where it's like,
Well,
what are you gonna do with those 30 hats, buddy?
Right.
Everybody knows they just upsell. Like if you want master memorabilia,
You got to go.
you got to go, or you got to pay
You got you.
premium dollar for it.
Okay.
And finally, I know you were worried about this, John. All of Taylor Swift's songs have returned to TikTok after being yanked because of licensing dispute.
So the dispute, obviously, from her side, she didn't want the music up there, but now it's been returned.
I don't know the details, John, but TikTok lately has been taking down a lot of songs that people were using, like these
Right.
dances and stuff. So you see like these videos and they have no music on it.
Oh, weird.
But
I mean, Taylor, I feel like she's fine.
I feel like
Is
she's okay.
TikTok really taking advantage of her as a creator or as a musician? Maybe. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
good. Then we can do a TikTok after today's show.
Perfect.
With some Taylor music. Yeah. All right. Join us tomorrow. Kevin AC and Cynthia Freeland will join the show. If you miss anything today, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app. For Brent and Jim, I am John. Let's keep it here. San Diego Sports 760. Okay.